Hello! So today we're gonna make a spinach and tofu quiche. I created this recipe last year and I've made this quiche a bunch of times ever since, and everyone who's tried it liked it. So I'm gonna show you how to make it because it's quick, it's easy, it's yummy, it's great for parties, and it's just a very convenient meal. I also have this recipe on my blog just so you can access it more easily and make the quiche. So there you have it. So these are the ingredients. You need 190 grams of all-purpose flour plus some more to roll out the dough, 115 grams of vegan butter, around 60 to 70 milliliters of soy milk, and a pinch of salt and a pinch of sugar. And for the filling, you will need around 350 grams of frozen spinach. I'm using this pre-portioned spinach. 150 grams of vegan cream cheese. I'm just using this one and it's just the entire thing. A clove of garlic. You need some olive oil. I don't really have the exact amount. You just kind of have to eyeball it. A block of smoked tofu. This is 185 grams of smoked tofu. The best smoked tofu, by the way. 1.5 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. A tablespoon of cornstarch. And finally, some salt and pepper to taste. So now I'm gonna take you to the cooking station because that's where the magic happens. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a small pot, heat it up on medium heat, and then we're gonna put the olive oil in there. And now we're gonna take our clove of garlic and cut it up into little tiny pieces and also add it to the olive oil in the pot. Now, as soon as the garlic has darkened just a little bit, you can add the spinach. So now that the spinach is thawing, slowly but surely, we can prepare the tofu. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut up the tofu into small little slices. So when you're cutting the tofu, you don't have to be very exact at all. You can just cut however you want. Just make sure they're small enough to be kind of mixed into a thick paste, which is what we want. So now that we are done with the tofu, we can add a little bit of salt and pepper to the spinach. I really don't want to add too much because if it's too much, you can't really remove it, but if you add too little, you can always add more. So the spinach is not fully thawed yet, but we're getting there. And now we can just add the tofu. If some pieces of tofu are bigger than others, it doesn't really matter. It's okay. Then we're gonna add our nutritional yeast, ta-da, and stir. This is what you want it to look like. And now we're just gonna put the lid on the pot, turn the heat off, and prepare the crust. And what you're gonna need for the crust is a large mixing bowl. We're gonna take the flour, the sugar, and the salt, put it in the mixing bowl. And now we're just gonna combine these dry ingredients. Once we've done that, you can just separate the vegan butter a little bit and also add it to the mixing bowl. And now we're just gonna mix until it gets a little bit crumbly, if you know what I mean. Ta-da! And now we're just going to add our soy milk. Some people say add it bit by bit, but I don't really care. At a certain point, it does make sense to use your hands, so I'm just gonna do that. But please always make sure you have clean hands when cooking and baking. Wash your hands frequently because the amount of people who don't wash their hands, oh my god, it's kind of nauseating, but whatever. You can also put a little bit of flour on your hands. Since we have a bunch of vegan butter in this crust, it's gonna be really soft. It's not gonna be that hard kind of crust that you have to kind of like crack with your teeth. So now we can take out our little pie plate. Isn't that great? That rhymed. Let's go back to our filling though. Now we can turn the heat back on and we can add our cream cheese. Stir, stir, stir. And let's add the cornstarch. Now that we have the cornstarch in, you gotta mix really, really well because we don't want chunks of cornstarch in our mouths, like this. And now we're gonna leave it on the lowest possible heat, cover it with a lid, and just let it sit until we are done with the pie crust. By the way, this pie plate is 24.5 centimeters, but I think that a little bit smaller or a little bit larger would also be okay. Let's dust the countertop with some flour. Let's take a rolling pin and roll, roll, roll. Don't forget to preheat the oven to 175 degrees Celsius. So now that we're done with this, we can put the crust inside of the pie plate, and we're gonna do it directly. You don't need to grease the plate. Okay, so it's not the neatest, but we don't need it to be. We don't need it to be. Oh my god. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna turn off the heat completely, and we're gonna just fill this pie crust with the filling. Now I'm just gonna spread it out a little bit, and now you're just gonna shake it back and forth and side to side to make it even. So now you can add any toppings to your quiche, this beautiful quiche. But you don't have to, it's gonna be good either way, but I've added tomatoes in the past because they kind of make it look cuter and it tastes good. So now I'm just gonna put it in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes at 175 degrees Celsius. And then we're gonna see how it turns out. By the way, it's getting dark already. It doesn't really take long to make this quiche, but with the filming, it kind of takes longer. And also I started pretty late, so that's that. While the quiche is in the oven, you can just clean the kitchen because you have enough time to clean the kitchen. So around 25 minutes have passed now, and I think we're ready to get the quiche out of the oven. So basically you want to leave the quiche in the oven until the crust has kind of darkened just a little bit and the filling is just a little jiggly. That's what you want. Ta-da! Oven mitts! Yes! So we're just gonna let this cool for about 5 minutes, and then we can take it out and slice it. Ta-da! This is the quiche. Let's get our slice. Okay, ready? Let's try it. Oh my god. This tastes so good. So we have that hearty, creamy, a bit salty, but still not too salty. And we've got the crust that ties everything together. It's just so good. And I've eaten the entire slice. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you do happen to make this quiche, if you happen to try it out, let me know how it went. Let me know how it tastes. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!